Fooled you on that one. Ha ha.
You're a dick.
I'm glad I was paying attention.
Good evening, Nation's Corner family, friends, and fans. John in South Jersey here. It is 6 p.m. No, your clock's not wrong. We're not adjusting for daylight savings time. We are early tonight, and we are still all the way live. Joining me tonight, of course, is my usual cast of unusual characters. Starting off with the one above me. She is the hostess with the mostest. She is our social media coordinator and advisor, and the woman who is fine like wine. Debhausen, what's up?
What's up? How you doing? And we have a special guest in the chat.
Oh, we do. Who we have?
A special guest in the chat. The awesome Drake from Los Angeles in the chat.
Hey.
Under his mom's name. Welcome, Drake.
Drake.
I'll try to keep it child friendly.
Okay, well, I guess we can go now. Drake's here, so we can go. No, okay, anyway.
We've made it.
Yeah, also with me, of course, is the world's greatest truck driver. Live from his collectible memorabilia room all the way in Texas, Tony Justice. What's up, brother?
What's happening, man? Glad to be back on. What's going on?
And, of course, in Long Island. By way of the Long Island Expressway from Monrovia, it's Mongrovian Mike. What's up, buddy?
What's up? What's up? What's up? I'm sporting my brand new Dixon. Oh yeah,
and I have one of those too.
Yeah, the Injustice for All
Metallica one.
I love it. I got it from my daughter and son-in-law. Thank you very much.
Okay. Besides awesome. Drake in the chat, I'd like to shout out real quick. Dirty is joining us. Good to see him. Of course, Lord Moyer and Chadwick sighting in the chat.
Yes.
Oh God.
Good.
Straight from the Evo concert.
And
the Nation's Corner live chat.
Yeah, and a shameless plug for a second. Fresh off of her extended tour of the Caribbean by a boat. She's back home safe and sound in Florida. But
good.
Of course, Brooke is our resident medical advisor here on the Nation's Corner. And we would like to wish her a welcome home. And thanks for getting your dad cigars. About time you hooked me up with something. But anyway, what we doing, guys? What we doing? We got stuff going on or something, right?
There's stuff going on.
Yeah.
Yeah,
we got a busy day today.
I wanna point this out and say put a pin in that. I'll get to it.
Yeah, Joseph put a pin.
Very well, because we both heard that when we were discussing that pre-show. So yes, we will put a pin in that and come back to it. But I guess the biggest headline, of course, is going on, and why we're early tonight is Backlash from St. Louis, Missouri, the first WWE live PLE post WrestleMania. So kicking off at 7 o'clock. The pre-show is on Peacock right now, and that is on Peacock for those who are wishing to watch it. But of course, we have literally a dozen other things that occurred in wrestling this week, and even other shows going on tonight. So where you guys want to start? Tony?
I figure we can close out the show with Backlash since we're going to be signing off to go watch it. So I don't know, man. You're in the driver's seat. I think,
yes, I am. All right, let's go back. I guess we'll do a quick recap of the week, starting Monday night with Raw. I don't know. I'm still trying to get used to this 2.5 hour format on Netflix for Raw. And it's weird. Some weeks seem like they're just rushing through and the time goes by super fast. And other weeks it's like real slow and it's a chore to get to that 2.5 hours. This week, for many reasons, was not that. It seemed just about perfect the way they had everything laid out and timed out. And Well, I mean, everybody was still talking about all the rumor or the releases over the weekend, who's going to wind up where and who's doing what. I thought
Right.
Raw was a very solid show, especially leading into Backlash. Now, maybe it's just me, but Backlash now seems more SmackDown centric than Raw centric, as far as
I would agree with that.
makeup of the matches, and and not saying that that's bad. They're both great shows, but like Deb, you can't watch SmackDown anymore. Your streaming services don't provide it. So, and it was a weird kind of coincidence. We had pre-show. We were talking about Backlash tonight, and you were like, I don't really know what's going on. And I'm like, wait a minute, how could you not know? But I'm like, if you haven't been watching SmackDown, especially the past few weeks, including the go home show last night, you wouldn't be up on a lot of the things going on and why some of the matches at SmackDown or on Backlash are going down tonight if you didn't watch it. So, I know you watched it. What are you giggling at?
Elder, he's about to rip his camera a new one. I can just tell.
Oh, well, no, that's it. And that shitty production crew he has that just tries to follow him around. And hey, focus on Mick Nemeth's head. Focus on Mick Nemeth's head. Focus on
all the faces and the camera keeps moving around.
Yes. Just put it on Nick's
just go to Nick's head. Just go straight to Nick's face.
Yeah.
You can't consider him being a
That's the face
faceless
we're
man.
looking at anyway.
All right, wait, let's see. When I go off camera, let's see what face it goes to.
Lord, he stands against the faceless man.
Big old fat David LeGrand.
Jesus.
It's like that camera crew on Raw whenever they're hitting, and the cameras do that.
Oh God, yes. That would drive me crazy.
That YouTube awards coming any day now. Any day. Anyway,
why don't we just ask Drake what he thinks? Because he's the best. So I like all of his takes. I usually agree with everything the kid
I'm
says.
not,
Is that kid a superstar yet or what? I don't want to. Don't let it go to his head.
Now, all of us, we are obviously all very big and long-term Busted Open fans, but Pulley was right when he said it on the show that Drake has taken Izzy's place as the young super fan. He has passed.
They're a grassroots. He's a grassroots thing. He wasn't. For same thing with Izzy. It's like now we have. You know what? Where Izzy's getting kicked out of the nest to fly on her own, and now we have a new.
She's 18 now.
Now we got a new kid to watch grow up with us in the Busted Open Nation. It's so cool. It really is.
Yeah. So we were kind of talking about Izzy last week a little bit on the show because it was her 18th birthday, and. Like when I started listening to Busted Open, she was 9 years old calling in. It kind of the same thing with Drake. Like I heard her first few phone calls when I first started listening, and I was like, Jesus, this kid sounds smarter than most wrestling fans.
Yeah.
And she was 9.
At 9.
9. She was 9.
I wonder how Drake feels as a kid being saved from the WWE holy shit chance.
We won't go into that. Okay. Not right now. We ain't got enough time.
Dave had a good
all right, anyway, let's get back on track.
Yeah. All right. Well, continuing to go around.
What do you think about the card for Backlash? That's where we were.
Yeah.
This is, and WWE has been guilty of this before. We're not like all, we're not all ready, all psyched and like, oh my God, this is going to be a great show. But then we might just turn around and go, holy shit, that kicked our ass tonight,
Well,
and that's what I'm kind of expecting now because especially since WrestleMania was like lackluster to some people. At least the end of it, not the whole, not the whole spectacle, of course, but yeah, there you go. Very good. Good. She's a good mother.
Good boy. Good boy.
He's a good boy because he got a good mom. Happy Mother's Day to you too, as well as my daughter and Mrs. Mongrovian and all the moms out there. Everyone's mom, and it's all the grandmas out there.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
really.
Anyway,
it's going to be good. I think
right.
it's going to be good.
I don't want to go too much
into
it
off
because we're going to get to it at the end. But typically or historically, Backlash hasn't been like, oh, we have to see this pay-per-view.
Right.
Especially being the first one coming off of WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And I don't. Again, we'll watch it and find out, but I don't see a whole lot going into this that anything earth-shattering may occur. Now, that's to say you might not get a surprise return or something, or a switch in something, but I guess as we're bridging the gap between Mania and now going into SummerSlam, Backlash has been kind of that either continuation or maybe a new story starting out of it to lead to SummerSlam. So we'll see. But like I said,
so one thing I will say that one thing I've noticed is, so normally I think Backlash, like you said, there's not a whole lot going into it. Normally, I think typically people are kind of still on a high from WrestleMania, that it kind of almost feels too soon to have another pay-per-view just a few weeks later. However, this year, I think people are kind of eager to get the bad taste of WrestleMania out their mouth.
Well, here, thank you, Ezra, in the chat. Let me bring this up real quick. You're right. There's only 5 matches on the card, so it's not going to be this long drawn. And in an era where we're seeing more and more PLEs, especially, become 2-night shows. SummerSlam's going to be a 2-night show now. WrestleMania is now. I think it's kind of nice to give us this. It's not a full course meal, but it's a hell of an appetizer to tide you over. And I think that's, in certain ways, especially after coming off of 2 nights of WrestleMania, just watching it, not even being there live or anything, but coming off of 2 nights of that this PLE deserves and hits and move along. So,
right. The couple of the spark that's got it going for me for Backlash is I'm looking forward to the Gunther, Pac and McAfee stuff.
Yeah.
And they're saying,
absolutely,
there's predictions of some surprise return happening at the end of that match.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. But on that real quick, if you have not seen the promo that Pat McAfee cut last week on Raw, find it on YouTube, find the clip. It's pretty long for a promo. It's about 5-6 minutes. But man, you want to talk about somebody that believes and lives every word he says. Every wrestler should watch that promo on how to absolutely gather an audience and hold it and keep it the entire time. And it's an amazing promo from a guy that's just this big dumb sports guy that happens to be a commentator. And the setting up of the story with Gunther has actually been very, very good. And I'm very excited. That's probably the match I'm looking forward to the most tonight on the card.
Yeah.
That's definitely gonna be good, because everybody's looking at it and going, okay, Gunther should just destroy him. So no, something, he lit a spark in McAfee. McAfee adores Michael Cole. He ribs him and messes with him, but that guy absolutely adores that guy, and he taught him the ropes. I mean, he came in, he was wearing the stupid shorts, seeing those knees and everything. Yes. And now
all I'm waiting for now is on Shop WWE. Go ahead, finish.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying on the opposite side, Michael Cole also learned how to loosen his tie up a bit, like,
Right.
so like
Yes.
they both have learned from each other. So like, this is like you're not gonna mess with the modern day, Gorilla and Bobby Heenan. It's like whatever, whatever you want, whatever couple names you want to add to them. These guys are going somewhere, and Michael Cole is he's an icon. He's an icon now. He is the GOAT in broadcasting right now.
Yeah. And I'm loving seeing him get his flowers. Like, I'll be the first one to admit I used to not like him as well.
Yeah.
Do you remember with the anonymous GM?
Oh,
yes.
that was awful.
DS.
Yeah.
Oh God, I hated that.
It was.
I hated that.
He like many of our favorite wrestlers, he hasn't had to endure some very, very bad gimmicks.
Yes.
And has still maintained and lasted and endured as the number one voice of WWE for a long time. And I'm just waiting for my loyal till I'm in the soil shirt from Pat McAfee on shopwwe.com.
The old
I need
old
one of
man
those too. Yeah.
The old man put a lot of people through the test.
Yeah.
You
remember when he used to be just fodder for The Rock, when Rock would cut his promos and Michael would be standing there holding the mic and just Rock would just obliterate.
Well, that was perfect for him being the foil for Rock. So that was that might have been more The Rock.
Oh, and speaking of The Rock, I'm making a prediction. The Rock will not be on Backlash tonight. I'm making a prediction.
God, no. No.
There was this caller on Busted Open today. John, do you know who I'm referring to? This guy talked about The Rock and Joe Hendry and
yes,
like,
yes, I did.
What?
I don't remember his name or where he was from, but yes, I could literally hear thunder, like trying to stifle her laughter at what this guy was saying.
Is that the same? That might be the same guy. Is that the same guy that said like Tony D could be Roman's half cousin coming in?
No.
You know what? It might be. It might be that same guy.
Might have been.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Tony D is Roman Reigns' cousin in the bloodline. Yeah, it could be the same guy.
I think his Twitter handle is @nincomfuckingpoop.
Yeah, well, but we won't go into that. No free plugs, sir. No free plugs.
Sorry.
Here, sir. No free plugs. I mean, if he wants to slip a little something, then, maybe we'll. But other than that, no.
I want to do a shot of Gatorade with Drake.
Yeah.
I'll do a shot of Snapple. Here you go. Cheers.
All right. We'll get back to the Backlash talk when we finish out the show. But, again, so much going on, and I hate to do this, Deb, but she doesn't watch NXT. But NXT this week was, again, a phenomenal, just, man, I know that part of it is hype and propaganda, but my God, the women's division in NXT is really, really, really effing good top to bottom. Absolutely amazing. When you have a number one contenders match, not a championship match, not anything, to get to the champion, you have Jordynne Grace versus Julia. That's a number one contenders match.
Yeah.
Anywhere else in the world, that's a main event for a title.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And that was on NXT TV, on CW for one of them. And, of course, Jordynne winning is now facing Stephanie Vaquer at their next PLE Battleground down in Tampa at the end of this month. Oh, yeah, by the way, it's Jordynne Grace versus Stephanie Vaquer.
Yeah.
Okay, a main event, obviously a main event anywhere in the world. But top, and we've seen, and of course, we kind of shook our heads at some of the NXT names that got let go, especially in the women's division in Gigi Dolan and
Cora
Jade. But man, all those women,
Yeah.
all the ones that that I believe it sent a message and it came across loud and clear Tuesday is you have to be at your best game at any time in order to make it.
Yeah.
You want to talk about swimming with sharks. It's it's tough, but we as fans are absolutely getting the very best out there right now.
Yeah, I
Especially
will
from
say
NXT.
I do think that I think I said this last week as well. The more recent signings that NXT has had with Jordan, with Stephanie, with Julia, even Ethan Page, Ricky Starks, I think that they have done a great job of building their roster of really, really credible, experienced people.
Yeah.
I think one of the biggest things that like the previous NXT era lacked was there was some people
Veterans.
from the indies like Cora Jade, but
Right.
but
But not veterans.
I kind of think that right now they're really showing how with a few exceptions that bringing in people who are already experienced, knowledgeable wrestlers tends to work out better than bringing in the people who have absolutely no prior experience at all.
Right.
And we're seeing that in action with this current group that's recently come in that is just absolutely killing it.
Well,
yeah.
It's funny you mentioned it that way, Dave. That because we've seen now very distinctive eras of NXT. Original Black and Gold, you had a lot of that, Indian and more lesser known talent that were
and they all came from Ring of Honor.
Yeah. But that lesser known talent, but very experienced and very used to being and very good in ring. And then we went from that to the 2.0 era where it was all just athletic ability. Yes, phenomenal, phenomenally trained athletes, male and female, but they didn't have that wrestling acumen yet. We were watching them learn as they kind of went. Now in this Black and Platinum era that they're calling it, we're seeing both of that kind of meld together, and we're getting the result that is absolutely fantastic as fans to watch, and different things. You're getting all this phenomenal athletic ability mixed with good character development, good storytelling, and it's a wonderful mix that's really giving a lot of people a chance to shine. And now it's not when who is going to get called up is when.
I think it really, just real quick, one last thought. I think it speaks to kind of why it's better for wrestlers to work at multiple different places throughout their career, because you're seeing people who have a more well-rounded experience, people that have been to Japan and learned certain things there, people that have been to Mexico and learned certain things there, people that have been to AEW and learned certain things there. And when you put that all together, they're much more well-rounded than someone who may only work under one system for their whole career, or someone who's fresh and doesn't really have any experience at all.
Right. No, I agree.
Coming up in the performance center, you if you come up if you're just signed from the WWE, then not everyone is going to do what Matt Cardona did. You know what I mean? And you should at least try and do what he did and what others are doing. Like Shotzi or Killer Cross. He's not let go, but I mean, go out of the box and push yourself to it. But I like when somebody gets let go from the, I don't like them getting let go, but when they're thrown out of, or when they're sent to their future endeavors from the performance center at NXT or WWE, and they've never really been on the independent circuit, and then they discover what it's about, and they either thrive or they, I mean, we know, you won't have to name names. We know who it was when they got let go, and they're like, oh, back up the Brinks truck, indies, and you know what? I don't think I've seen his name on any independent.
I have not.
Well,
And that was
that's-
like what? That was 1 or 2 years ago, right? That was about
Yeah.
2 years ago, and we know who it is, but they don't need it. It's not giving them shit. It's just a lesson that you learn.
Exactly. Yeah. Go ahead,
Mhm.
Tony.
No, I was just gonna piggyback on what y'all were saying about NXT. I've been saying this for a while now. The NXT Women's Division is the best division, in my opinion, across the board. They have got just a women's roster that is stacked with talent, and it just seems to continue to keep on happening. I mean, and TNA, John would be happy to know this, that me and him both talked about this when it happened. Myla Grace, good friend of ours, she's signed to TNA, so I'm eager to see what she does for the TNA
Yes.
division. When they lost Jordan Grace, they took a big hit in the women's division. So
Mhm.
you still have Masha, and you still have Tessa there.
Yeah.
And Myla Grace is going to fit right in, I think. And but you were also saying that y'all were talking about what NXT might be lacking in the previous brands. Well, this iteration of NXT, I'll tell you one thing it's lacking. Deb watching it.
I don't have that channel.
That's what it's lacking.
She don't have that channel, man.
That's not true. But I don't
somebody
have
call Stanford and fix this immediately.
Unless you want to, pay my bill for another monthly service.
I tried to get you on YouTube TV, and you were like,
I couldn't do it. No, I couldn't. I
Wait, what
couldn't.
is that?
It won't.
No,
It
I
won't
don't
let
have
me.
YouTube TV
It won't
anymore.
let me add on to someone else's YouTube family thing because I would have to disconnect from my entire Google Home system with all my lights and everything. See, if I wouldn't be able to turn my lights on and off.
She'd be in the dark.
Okay, all right.
It
What
won't
if I
let
click
me.
the
It
link?
won't let me be a member of two Google families at the same time. I would have to disconnect from my own
I
Google
just
Home
add,
family.
while we're on the subject of women's wrestling, I'd be remiss if I didn't bring up Tony Storm coming out on that balcony and even cracking the Abe Lincoln joke, and just I just want that. You know how I feel about that goddamn Death Riders story. I can't wait till it can't go away fast enough for me. As much as I love Marina Shafir and it's impossible to hate Claudio Castagnoli. It's almost impossible to just hate that guy. So that being said, the Death Riders storyline can just go the fuck away, please, with their shitty shirt too. And I want to see the title belt, and I want to see I want to see Tony Storm every week. I mean, I want to see her on multiple segments every week till I get sick of her. And I don't see that happening anytime
But that's
soon.
the point. If we saw her every week on every segment, we would get sick of her.
Not every segment. I'm saying multiple segments, and which we pretty much do. We get her on commentary. We get her on a match. We get her on a backstage vignette. We get her running and doing that, running out to the boardwalk. It just, just everything she does is pure gold.
I mean, you want to talk about the NXT women's division? I think the AEW women's division is kind of slowly giving them a run for their money.
You know what? I think people
more
are
and
starting
more.
to listen.
They have some crazy powerhouses, and it is really great to see. I mean, we went from wishing and hoping that AEW would do something better with their women's division to now, we had Toni Storm and Mariah May have one of the longest and most
feuds of the year.
Considered one of the best storylines in AEW history.
Yeah.
And even now that Mariah's been away since she lost, what Toni Storm is doing on a weekly basis is just incredible. We have Sky Blue finally making her return next week to face against Toni Storm in an eliminator match. We have We have Megan Bain as a recent acquisition, and Penelope Ford has been really, really showing what she can do on a weekly basis.
Kudos to Penelope and to Anna Jay and to
Anna
Harley
Jay,
Cameron and Harley
Willow, Statlander.
I'm talking about those three in particular because they've really they you know what I mean? Like they get it and they want to get better, and you could see that they're getting better. And I mean, Penelope's just great anyway. Jamie
Hayter and Mercedes and Thunder. I'm still waiting. Drake, this is where you have to close your ears. I'm still waiting for my Thunder Tits shirt. I'm waiting. When is it going to come to AEWshop.com?
Do you know that should have been right? We should have saw like the ad up for it as
soon as she said
next morning.
Yes.
Next morning.
Yeah, I would have bought one.
Insane. And these people still chanting, starting Thunder Tits chants.
Right.
Yes.
So, quick music note. It's going to tie into what we're talking about. Y'all remember the "Don't Cry" video from Guns N' Roses?
Yes.
Remember the sign that someone was holding in the video that said, "Where's Izzy?" Talking about Izzy Stradlin.
Right.
Okay.
He wasn't there. I want a sign that says, "Where's Camille?" Because Camille needs to get back to the AEW women's division. I mean, Camille.
We don't know what's been going on with her.
There was a perfect story there with her and Mercedes, and then all of a sudden, it just, I don't know. I don't know if she got hurt.
I got the angle to bring her in for
Megan Bain.
Absolutely, give me Camille versus Megan Bain.
Yeah.
Oh, we forgot about Harley.
Oh yeah,
there's another one who's been adding a lot to the women's division.
Yeah, no, I was saying in particular Harley, Penelope, and Anna Jay. I mean, since Anna Jay came back from her time in Japan, I mean, and listen, people go to Japan and they come back and something snaps in them when they go to Japan, and you have to do it. Do a little tour of Japan, a little tour of Mexico, and get
that's
it right.
One of the great things about the partnerships that AEW has fostered with New Japan and with CMLL is that when you have a talent like that, like Anna Jay definitely needed some more experience under her belt, some more training from different people than what she was used to. So send her to Japan for a little while, let her learn from different people, let her get some experience, and she'll come back better. And I think that's the great thing about what the partnerships that AEW has. It works.
I love all the partnerships coming along between both big companies and in the independents. I mean, with the WWE ID program, and everything is crazy.
Can we finally admit and put to bed the whole Forbidden Door, prohibited
it's not a
portal
thing anymore.
No, it's not.
It was a thing when it started.
It was a thing when
now it's not necessary.
No. It's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, it's not a thing anymore.
It
was when it started because at that time it wasn't really seen.
Listen, we haven't even mentioned Billy Corgan and NWA with it's a different it's a different time, man. Now to quote the one of the winningest tag teams ever, it's a new day.
It is, and
yes,
and
it is.
To quote the last professional broadcaster, Sam Roberts, speculate wildly because
everything counts.
And everything counts because anybody can literally show up anywhere. We're finally in the age where.
Dude, we're gonna be able to see Natty Neidhart at a freaking Crockett Cup, like an end up.
For real.
We would Bloodsport. Just
Oh, and where's the Crockett Cup this year? Oh, where's that?
20. That's right. DC Dub Arena. Some people call it
bingo hall.
Right around the corner, John. Right around the corner.
It's the most famous bingo hall dump in the world, and it's the EC Dub Arena forever. Stop with the it's 2,300. Stop with the crap.
Yes.
Well, they can't call it that, but we call
And
it the
speaking of
CW
club
arena.
owners, we just have to say, I'd be remiss if we didn't say that the owner of the L'Amour's passed away, one of the original owners. And yeah, so I knew that would hit you, John. I mean, that's some time. His name
venue
slips
that
my
you kids
mind,
know
but it
nothing
is
about.
one of the owners of one of the original rock clubs of the world.
But we're in an age now that literally anything is possible.
Mm-hmm.
Who we see on one show this week, we may see on another show for another company for any reason, or on a live show, or some independent's running a show, and all of a sudden this person shows up. Why?
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah, GCW too. You're right, Ezra. Sorry.
Yeah, GCW. Oh my God, it has had a killer year so far.
They have,
and
okay, so it can. While we've brought up GCW, can I just point out the fact that what KJ Orso, FKA Fuego del Sol, is doing is probably the best thing to happen in GCW since Matt Cardona stained a shirt red.
By far, absolutely. This
can we say that GCW, our the Nation's Corner good friend Bear is going to be making Bear Bronson is going to be making his debut at GCW.
Yes,
we love it. Kill him, Bear. Kill him.
We love Bear. Yes,
we saw him.
It's going to be awesome.
At Deb's very first GCW show over at Harris Casino in Philadelphia. It was curious to see someone in the crowd. Actually, two people in the crowd just hanging out watching the show. One
certain
being
Bear and a certain Gnome.
Yeah. The absolute indie power couple of Bear Bronson and the Naomi Gabby Forza were just curious, just spectators, just fans hanging out watching the show.
Yep.
And lo and behold, Bear Bronson's going to make his own debut in GCW.
And one of the Savage Gnomes makes someone's heart beat extra fast.
Would you stop?
He's a fine, handsome lad.
Hit a patta.
He's a very handsome man. Yes.
Just to Mind Runner's point, real quick, that you just flashed up. Anything's possible.
Mind Runner, what's
Shout
up,
out, Mind Runner, brother?
But anything is possible at this point. And Shayna's was one of the releases. So in 30 days, we'll find out. I'll guarantee that she's going to be on Bloodsport again.
When you dream, we talk about dream matches, but when you dream sign somebody, that is a dream signing. If you put Shayna, can you imagine if you're gonna see something, a major thing going on between Shayna Baszler and Mia Yamashita, or fucking, who's the other? Maki Ito,
oh man,
Ali Catch. Come on, let's get it.
Ooh, when Ali comes back,
from her.
The GCW is perfect for Shayna, because I'm going to tell you, I don't think that she won't mind bleeding a little either.
No,
she looks like someone
I have a feeling that she might love that idea.
Yes,
right. Bloodsport.
Get a little aggression out. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Come out to a nice Venom Slayer.
Bloodsport is another thing that we that's kicking ass lately, especially with seeing like Natty.
Yeah,
version of Natty on Bloodsport is amazing. Those promos she's been cutting on Twitter.
Yes.
Holy
man!
It's perfect, because it's not something that's like Bloodsport isn't every month or whatever.
Yeah, it's not a regular show.
It's very limited. What is it? I'm not even sure. John, was it more than once or twice a year, or?
It used to be, it was about, originally it was just something they did as part of the collective that they do every year during Mania. But it was so immensely popular, it's consistently the first show on the collective, especially, and all the great shows of the collective, it's consistently the first show that sells out.
Yeah, the point being
every time.
The point being is it gives Josh Barnett, who's got we obviously see from the interviews and he's got a tremendous amount of respect from and for for people in the industry, and he puts together these amazing shows. And dude, he must be able to schmooze them, man, because he gets these stars. I mean, well, we're talking about Shayna. Well, he got Shayna on a Bloodsport show when you didn't even think thought there was a chance. Like when we heard Shayna, we were really surprised.
Right.
Yeah.
This
that
time
was the
we
first,
weren't surprised that it was a WWE star. We were surprised that it was Natty, and we were chomping at the bit to see Natty unleashed.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the beautiful things about this current landscape is, you have people like Shayna and like Natty especially, who like we know what she can do, but she just hasn't really been able to show it in a very long time. She's kind of the reliable one for WWE. She can go out there and have an amazing match with anyone, but she never really has any storyline. She never really has like much creative going for her. She could just go out there and have a match whenever with anyone. And it was so great to see her unleash like that and really like see like the passion in her, that she really like wanted to go out there and do something different.
Yeah.
So,
as Bully would say, a good hand or a good worker.
Yeah. You know what? I just want to make a point. So there's three names that you could probably associate with any of the women that are intriguing you and blowing you away right now in the wrestling industry, and you could trace them back to a Tessa Blanchard, Natty Neidhart, and Athena Palmer. Okay, you could trace back. You could probably find a few more, but I'm saying these three women right off the top of my head. This is just something that you could trace back, and you could go, when you go, oh, this wrestler is great. This one is great. This person, oh, they trained with so-and-so. 9 times out of 10, John, am I wrong? Are you going to hear the one of those three names said that?
Sure. That, I mean, the reason why they're good as they are now is because they have worked or trained with Natty Neidhart, Tessa Blanchard, or Athena Palmer. Yeah. And that's fact. That's not even, innuendo. That's pure fact.
Yeah.
So it's just a thing. So I mean,
right.
But
so while we're kind of on the subject of the women's wrestling, I want to get back to what Thunder said on Busted Open this morning.
Okay.
They were specifically, John, I know you listened this morning. I don't know if anyone else listened. They were specifically talking about Alexa Bliss last night on SmackDown. Now I know when Alexa returned, and from what I know, from what I saw, there were, she had a couple matches and there were a couple minor teasers of, Wyatt Six stuff related to her. And then she kind of disappeared again for a few weeks. She came back last night as the tag partner for Zelina. And Thunder had a bit of a rant on Busted Open today. She talked about how, she hates when women are brought in or just kind of randomly paired up. Like if there's plans for Alexa Bliss to do something with the Wyatt Six, that's one thing, but like just kind of why randomly have her return as a tag partner for the new U.S. champion. So Thunder had a bit of a rant today, talking about how women's wrestling deserves better, and she freaking hates when women are just randomly paired up, like there's nothing better for them to do. And I'm pretty sure she even called it lazy booking at some point.
Yes. And in this case, she was, besides being obviously very passionate about it, she was 100% right. And while she doesn't do it often, she was also critical of her own company
Mhm.
and it was just a blanket rant about women's wrestling in general,
In general.
and
Yeah.
and she was 100% right.
Yeah.
This is, forget that she's a former women's champion and on both SmackDown and Raw and an undisputed female champion. Great. She came back at the Royal Rumble and we're like, okay, great. She's back. Let's see what happens. And then, and now you bring her in on a random Friday night, no fanfare, no, all right, I get it. It's the big pop of it's Alexa Bliss. Okay, cool. And
they got a couple of great reaction shots with it.
And that's all fine. I have a side note. Somebody needs to get Alexa some sun because my girl's looking like brand new linen out there.
No.
Ryan likes it like that.
No. Being pale is perfectly okay. Okay.
I get it, but my girl looking like liquid eraser out there. She was looking like paper, like white line paper. But anyway,
liquid paper.
But anyway, and as a thrown together tag match with Selena, and I don't know what the end game was. I don't know if there was an end game. It was very cool to see her in ring. She looked great. She moved great. She kind of played the hits, nothing super spectacular, but and overall it was a good, decent match on a show. But Thunder is absolutely right that it's a 2.5 hour show. Why not give them 15 minutes?
Right.
15 minutes to work, to do something with it. You have her, you have this big pop and crowd surge of her quote unquote return to TV. But then you give us an 8-minute match that really doesn't mean anything. Give them more time. Let them figure out, let the fans feed into that and feed into the match. So, and again, going forward, it's great to see her on TV, but we still don't have any idea of where she's going. And we can say that about a lot of especially the female wrestlers in both companies and a lot of places. How many matches have we watched on AEW that, this is a great match, but it doesn't, there's no follow-up. There's no, what's the next thing? And here's the thing.
There's no ongoing storyline for it.
And this is what infuriates me about it. And the first thing name that came to my mind listening to Thunder rant and rave today was good friend of ours, good friend of mine, friend of the nation, Lady Frost.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How is not
a birthday twin?
How is that woman not on TV every week?
Right.
Yeah.
I got to see her live, which is always fantastic. Last week at the Collision Show live. Thank you, Andre.
Yes.
With Tony Storm,
and she did have a great promo afterwards.
And I was like,
so maybe that's something. Maybe that's something that's there.
I'm praying. I am.
I think that was her first actual promo.
Yes, it was, and I'm hoping to God that they realize that and try to feed off of that and make it, because absolutely, this is a woman that has absolutely worked her ass off and gives absolutely excellent match after excellent match and is good on the mic and has a very distinctive look. And it's all the tools right there. And it's literally just been ignored by AEW. And that's the best way I can put it. It's been ignored. And, but listening to Thunder today, that was the first thing that clicked in my mind. And and like I said, Thunder was right. And it's 100%. I don't know, and for all the good things that WWE does, you can make comparisons, and we can go till we're blue in the face. But even WWE doesn't get it right all the time either, and that's and that's the basis of her argument that and especially in this point in time, day and age, we're so far removed from the TNA and the bra and panties matches and the Grody boat matches these are legitimate, real athletes capable of very good wrestling. Mate, we've seen it time and time again.
Yeah.
We can all name at least five off the top of our heads, amazing women's matches.
So many.
Yeah. And it just infuriates me that there, for every reason, there's a thinking that just doesn't get it and it will sell tickets. It will sell pay-per-views. It will put asses in seats. It will sell merchandise.
So, you know what I think is the missing puzzle piece? As a woman, I think there's not enough women in creative writing positions. We recently saw Gail Kim being let go by TNA, which was a massive shocker. And I think that kind of kickstarted the conversation a little bit, is that there needs to be more women in leadership positions and more women in creative positions. As simple as it sounds, I think, unfortunately, a lot of times men don't know how to write good stories for women. Plain and simple. Men don't know how to write good stories for women. You need that representation of the women in the leadership positions and in the creative writing positions to not only advocate for those athletes, but help create storylines that feel natural for women. Not a man writing something for a woman to say that doesn't feel natural for women.
Right.
That's just my thought.
I agree.
All right.
You have a perfect woman that was released from TNA that could be a lot of help. Gail Kim.
Yeah. If Gail Kim got, any sort of prominent role in any other company, she's a massive asset. But not just her. There's so many. It shouldn't be just one woman kind of carrying that torch for the whole industry.
Yeah. No, it's you're absolutely right, Deb. It's about time. Everything else, as far as women's wrestling, has been raised and leveled up. That's the next step, and hopefully we will see that sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
absolutely. All right. Why don't we close out, since we only have a few minutes left, with our annual. Of course, it's our first time doing it this year, but our annual predictions, etc. Comments on Backlash.
All right.
Yes.
Who wants to click the banner thingies?
Oh, I got it.
Okay.
All right. So let's quick run down I don't want to say lesser, but okay, so we have Becky versus Lyra Valkyria here.
Right.
I'm picking Lyra.
Let's go, Lyra.
Lyra. I am also with Lyra. Screw that no-selling bitch. I stole your line, Elder.
I knew you were going to steal my gimmick.
But
I'm going with Becky, just because.
Well, I think it's cool. I think it's a great match regardless. Again,
She still should be laid out from the end of days from Baron Corbin. Jesus Christ.
Well, it's one of them things where I often find myself now in this era of anything's possible is, where are we going? At least before, even if it was predictable, like obviously predictable, we had a sense of what was going on. Now, if this is the part
she's a last kicker, she doesn't even have any laughs left. She lost it all. How does someone get pregnant, have a baby, and have less of an ass? I mean, tell me.
What
Okay, all right. Enough. But
pisses me off.
It's one of the things I want to see. I think Lyra.
Yeah, she kicked my ass in 2K25 too. I hate that computer.
Oh my god.
Go ahead.
Your lack of video game skills is not important. All right.
Carpal tunnel.
I mean, I like Lyra as champion, but I don't know where we're going with this. Other than being a good match or potentially a great match, I have no idea where this is going or what the fallout is.
Seriously, do we have a run-in?
I want to say where they go with this is pretty much putting Lyra on the map some more. Like, you know,
Okay.
she's been here lately the past couple of weeks. She's been coming out. She's been cutting some killer promos with Becky in the ring. She's been portraying, you know, she's been wearing her street clothes more, kind of giving you another side to her because, you know, you'd always fly her in her wrestling gear.
Right.
And she has amazing wrestling gear, but it's the same with Bayley. When Bayley comes out in her street clothes, it's like there's a different aspect to her. I mean,
yes,
and
it's
so
a different
Lyra's
attitude.
on that same road.
You mentioned Bayley. You think Bayley's going to be a factor in this? Because
I think so because
she has to be. Because now, I mean, Becky. We thought it was, but Becky confirmed it that she's the one that took Bayley out. So.
Yeah.
So, well,
politically and physically.
Well, we have seen the Bayley Becky feud play out over the past several years, and it's good every time. All right, next one, Deb.
All right, next we got Dom and Penta.
Penta.
I also don't know much about this story, but I'm going with Penta.
Penta all the way. Zero middle.
Yeah, zero middle.
Somebody's gonna be celebrating with some chicken tendies and some cute little New Jersey girl.
The absolute flip from Dom Mysterio from being the most hated and loudly booed person to being now a babyface fan favorite is unbelievable. Literally within the span of a day.
I totally called that shit. Because you know, he'd been on Busted Open several times, and every time he's on Busted Open, I'm like, how could you not like this guy? He seems so likable. He's funny.
So when he
cute.
said when Dave asked, what do you think about the Penta and Ray Phoenix coming in? Oh, big deal. We got like 15 guys with masks here already.
Yeah.
It's too
late. Know, every
Yeah.
appearance that he does, like he's been on other podcasts. Him and Liv did the Hot Ones versus challenge. That was really funny. Like every time I see him on like a TV appearance or a podcast or whatever, or interview, I'm like, how could you not like this guy? And I absolutely called it before Mania. I said, if Dom wins, he's getting a massive pop. And I think there were people on Zoom go, really? You think so? Yes.
Come on, Orale, chica, man. He's taking a lesson from his poppy, man.
Yes.
That's what Eddie Guerrero was a shit heel. And the shit he did was so freaking ingenious and great that it turned him into you couldn't boo the guy.
Like, yeah, exactly.
How could you boo the guy that says, let me untie my laces? So when ankle puts the ankle lock, I lose my sneaker. You know, shit like that. Let me grab the guy, the Tex screwdriver, and you know, just all. I think I bang the chair and lay down.
I even tweeted that after one of Dom's interviews on Busted Open. Like, how could I? After listening to his interview, I can't boo him. Like, how could you not like him?
Well, ever since last year when he won the Busty. When he won the Busty last year for heel of the year and he broke it on carry, you know, he just cracked it. He goes, what is this? Right there, you know.
So good.
Like, I mean, when he was cutting the vignettes, you know how hard he spent 4 hours in the county. You know how hard it is, and like it changes you, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, being locked up changes the man.
Can't go to jail, mommy. We'll make it in prison. All right, moving on.
Great one. He gets it.
All right, so we got this 4-way for the U.S. Championship. I also don't know much about this storyline.
Well,
so go
as we talked about, as we talked about before, this basically has played out on SmackDown. The U.S. Championship is kind of a SmackDown championship, but it's got very interesting players in it. And you want to talk about hard hitters?
Yeah,
LA Knight, Drew McIntyre, Damian Priest, and Jacob Fatu.
Yeah.
Somebody's going to get hurt.
And only one is going to dog walk their ass.
All gas, no brakes.
Did you see Drew doing the, well, you got all gas, no brakes?
I popped hard when I saw that. That was
Oh my God, Drew
awesome.
McIntyre is just on another. He's
He-
on another
he is.
level, and he
You know,
really. It's
and-
just amazing.
you know, I'm
Hey, there's
going.
one of the Starbucks that was closed when we were there.
St. Louis.
We're not talking about your.
Hey, there's the
St.
place
Louis
you couldn't get
nightmares.
pizza at 5:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah, but not at 6 because they closed.
Hey, wait, but look, the hooker is still there.
Well, she's open
Oh my
24
God,
hours.
stop. Okay, stop.
Um,
All right, moving
anyway,
on.
Moving on. Oh,
Yes,
this is the match that's going to have a surprise at the end.
yes. Because on paper, Pat McAfee, for all that he
Pat
is,
McAfee's
doesn't
walking.
last
He's looking
10
for a
seconds.
bar. He's looking for a bar that's still open.
Yeah.
You know,
On
I think the
paper-
facial expression that he's making in this picture right here says that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, I need a beer, God damn it.
Hey,
That's the
you
face
know
of
what?
a man that realizes, like, oh, shit.
Preferably
Before-
Stone Cold
Oh,
IPA.
shit.
You know, before we close out, we should do a poll with some of our fans and everything out there. Well, you know, people that subscribers and everything. Would you guys ever be interested in like a live watch along? Like,
I don't want to do a live watch along. We've been over
you.
If you keep going with that shaky camera,
Such a
this. I'll
we're
be
gonna
doing
girl.
cut
that,
this
Ray.
one
I
off.
don't care. I don't want to
Such a
do a live
girl.
watch
I
along.
was just wondering. I mean,
All
we're
right.
doing it now.
All right.
All
Yeah,
right, so Guns
You
N'
know what it
Roses.
is. You know what it is, Drake. I gotta tell you what it is. Deb does a lot of bad, not role model stuff on Zoom.
You
that,
don't need
you
to
know,
see that.
that you don't have to see. She curses a
You
lot.
don't need to. I don't want to be
She
on camera for
drinks
5 hours straight.
uncontrollably.
I
was
want
going
to
pay
relax
attention,
in my
but I
PJs
got
and
high.
drink my wine.
I was
She
going to
drinks
watch
about
some
a gallon of
wrestling,
wine, and you
but I
don't
got
need.
high.
There's nothing sadder, Drake, than seeing a drunk older lady just falling asleep on camera. That's how I
Just
called you an older.
older?
That's right.
What's wrong with you?
What am I, the only old
Man.
bastard here?
Yes, you are.
Okay.
35.
Nah.
And
Yeah, you're right.
It's not that bad. Just Deb smokes a lot
You
of
know
weed.
what? You know what? There's a lot of
John,
if this is a word, there's a lot of
You
unbroadcast.
self-admitted that. I don't pay attention
kayfabe,
because I got high.
Kayfabe.
Kayfabe.
All right.
Can't.
Hey,
can't.
we
put
just
the
went
curtain back.
WWE real in here and pulled back
Yeah.
the curtain all the
All
way.
right, put the curtain back. Move on to the next match.
Christ.
Real quick,
All right.
next
Thank
match.
you, Brooke. Thank you, Brooke. If I'm considered older, then what are these
Wow.
motherfuckers? Come on.
GFY.
John,
She's
I'm
my daughter. I can tell her that. Go fuck
John,
yourself.
John, I'm on your side from now on. Anytime any heat comes in between you and your offspring there.
Yeah, disrespectful little brat.
The disrespect.
Hey, you
All right.
don't talk to her like that.
I can
That's
because
right, on the air.
I'm here and she's in Florida. I know she can. I know
All right,
her
we've-
dad taught her how to
we've
throw
devolved.
fucking hammers.
We've
Right.
I know her
devolved.
daddy
Okay.
taught her how to throw a freaking hammer.
Amongst other
Backlash
things.
All right.
Yeah.
Right.
Backlash is on the air right now.
Well, last match.
All right, so
Last
one
match.
more
Last match.
Cena Orton. Cena Orton.
This
I got
one
Cena.
here. This one here is. I mean, they could go
It's
either way. with it.
Cena's not
Yeah.
losing it this quickly. No.
But
I'm
I
going Cena.
love the
I'm going
idea
Cena.
of Randy having another title run. I absolutely love it at this point. Why not put the belt on Randy for right now?
Yeah.
Why not?
Oh, they're starting out with the Fatal 4-Way. The Jacob Fatu, LA Knight.
LA Knight just
Neil.
got
Oh,
110
this is gonna be a good
BB.
one.
All right.
All right, so since we're live at Backlash, we will wrap this up real quick. Tony, how can the folks get with you on the social medias and such?
Well, you could follow me on Twitter at Tony Justice AJFA. And if you're a Metallica fan, like I know all of us are, and Drake, I don't know if you're a Metallica fan, man, but don't listen to Dave
You
when he
need
was
to
talking
be.
about on the show
Yeah.
yesterday about Metallica. Metallica.
Listen to Dave.
is
He's
awesome.
completely right. He's completely right.
You're wearing a Metallica Dixon.
I am, and it's justice for all. I'm not wearing a load. I'm not wearing a crappy load shirt. I'm not wearing a Saint Anus shirt.
Don't say it.
Oh
We
my
do not
God.
discuss that in public.
You know what
We
that
do
means?
not talk about it in public. All right. Anyway, old
Give me
man,
fuel, give me fire. The rest of that album I don't desire.
Okay,
Sorry.
let Tony finish his spiel. Good Lord Jesus Christ.
This is what happens when we're
Too late, he did it already.
Please
Hey,
stop.
if you're a Metallica fan, like I know all of us are, you know what that means. Ooh.
All right, Mongrovian, take a breath real quick. 10 seconds, go.
I'm here.
And your family.
Yes.
When you
Because when you
hear,
hit
When
Bam.
you're here.
What is it? What is it? Tony Stone said, I'm here. I'm queer. Nah, I'm just ready. Let's go. LFG. Chad
LFG.
hates that saying. LFG,
Yeah.
everybody.
Let's fucking
LFG.
Anyway, Deb, what about you?
At That's So Debonair on the Twitter machine, the Instagram machine, the Blue Sky machine, all of it.
Perfect.
That's it.
And I am, of course, at Twisted Metal Fab on the Twitter and the Instagram. And also on Instagram, you can keep up with the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in all the professional wrestling that has been booked for a gig in Florida. Details coming up soon. Anyhow, catch me on there. Catch up with AK9K at AssKicker9K on the Instagram. We are out. Backlash is live. Thank you all for joining us. We will see you next week.
yeah.
Happy Mother's Day.
Yes, happy Mother's Day.
That
Anytime.
too.
Anytime.
Somebody's mother.
Anytime now. Who's going to press
Any
that?
day now.